Well, if you're ready, let's talk about the coldest pattern that we have seen so far this winter, likely to take hold this week, starting tomorrow afternoon, once a cold front pushes through the area and opens the door for this colder weather flow. Now, to say it's the coldest active weather pattern of this winter isn't really saying a whole lot. I get it, but certainly high confidence and high hope is still there that we're going to rack up some decent snow this coming week. And really, for the back half of February is what we're talking about. And I'll get into that. So, 2 to 3 feet of mild snow still expected tomorrow through Friday. Thumbs up on that. Yes, you can see the snow total map over here through the 20th, racking up those totals. Valley snow is possible. I didn't say valley snowstorm is possible. I said valley snow is possible, at least snowflake sightings. We're getting into some cold convection this coming week starting Tuesday. That even during the day, you could be dealing with a rain shower, then all of a sudden that turns to what seems to be hail or grapple, which is kind of a frozen icy mix. And maybe even, especially at night into early morning, we have some little snow burst. And sometimes, even though it doesn't look like much, in scattered locations, if the timing is correct, you can get like all of a sudden saying, "Hey, we have a dusting of snow. We have an inch of snow on the ground." Now, maybe you travel 15 minutes away and there's nothing on the ground. And once the daytime sun comes up, all that quickly melts. So, those are the type of scenarios I'm looking at in the coming days. There is something that catches my eye for this coming weekend, and we'll get more into that. But again, coldest winter pattern to take hold. Snow totals through Friday, February 20th to be 2 to 3 feet of Mount snow over the next 5 days. So, that in itself is all very, very exciting. I believe you will agree. Okay. Let's talk about my sponsor, the Momentous Wealth Podcast, brought to you by Momentous Wealth Management. They are an investment team licensed in Oregon and Washington. You can listen to their financial topic podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And I thank them for sponsoring my weather. Okay. A couple of things to update you on. Number one, we talked about this last time, the fact that NOAA agrees that we're getting into a colder weather pattern. So this is the update from NOAA now projecting colder than normal temperatures basically all the way through the end of February, up and down much of the West Coast. There's California, Oregon, and Washington in blue, and above normal precipitation. There's Oregon and Washington in green through the period. Now, this doesn't tell you there's going to be some huge winter storm. It tells you what I just said. When you average out the temperatures, lows and highs for the remainder of the month, we're expected to average below normal. We're expected to see above normal precip. So I'm not the only one seeing this. Other agencies are seeing it as well, is the point of all that. Now, here is what is leading to these projected outlooks. This is the upper flow pattern for the next 30 days, starting tomorrow and going through March 18th. On the left, the American GFS model. Notice that the anomaly over 30 days puts a cold trough not over New England, not over the Great Lakes, not over the Midwest, where it has been much of this winter. But finally, the modeling for a period of time is showing anomalies pushing a cold trough down over the West Coast, with the coldest low in purple up to our north. If this is true, 546 millibar height would mean the average jet stream flow would be the polar jet, which means we would have a whole bunch of days with snow levels down to about 2,000 feet and a whole bunch of days with highs in the 40s, not the 50s. That's what that kind of means, okay? Here's the European model on the right showing the same thing. Now, you can notice the difference because it's color coded nicely. The cold trough, instead of kind of knifing down over Oregon and Washington into Northern California, pretty much holds up into Canada. That's significant. Pressure height of 552 millibars would not be as cold as what the American GFS is. And I will say that a 552 millibar height is actually pretty close. A year ago, the pressure height was 554. And a year ago, March, from mid-February into mid-March, the same period I'm looking at, actually produced temperatures that were above normal, but the precip was really wet. And it's worth to note that there was not any individual run of 4, 5, 6 days where temperatures were significantly below normal. This time, I feel like that's absolutely a slam dunk. That's going to happen this coming week. So Anyway, we'll see. This is just kind of putting pieces to the puzzle together for you, what we look at as forecasters. All right, let's get you going. Well, hey, it's 2:08, and depending on where you are, it's actually quite nice outside. There's Tillamook, sunshine along the north coast from the Camera Gear up by the Sea Resort. There's Persimmon Golf Club out in Gresham, getting sunshine there. But look at the clouds down in wine country. Willamette Valley Vineyards, Domain Serene Winery, the east side, currently Camas Meadows. So it kind of depends on where you are. There's some clouds down at the inn at Ottercrest along the central coast right now, although up in Astoria and Gearhart and Seaside, it's sunny. So again, kind of depends on where you are. The radar is pretty clean. I'll show you that in a moment. This is what the situation is up on the mountain currently. This is my Mount Hood weather forecast page, a great source for you to bookmark on my weather site, portlandweather.com. 33 at Timberline, 41 Mills, 34 Skibo. So it's kind of warmed up. Skibo was, I think, even closer to 40 degrees. Government camp right now is 40, all clean, obviously, with that temperature. Siskiyou Summit's dry, 41. Santiam had some snow over the weekend, as did government camp, but all those cameras are now in good shape. It's foggy and 37 out over the blues. There's ID4 in Cabbage Hill. So we did get some new snow over the weekend. Timberline reported 5 inches new, Meadows 6, and Skibo 5 over the past 24 to 30 hours. Temperatures have warmed up today as the precipitation has mainly stopped, and we've melted some of that off. But it gives you a starting point. And here's my forecast moving forward. Tomorrow, snow level 3,000 down to 2,500 feet. Snow most of the day on Mount Hood for your Monday. Projecting 4 to 6 inches of new snow at pass level and above. Tuesday, convective snow shower activity, 3 to 6 inches. Sometimes if we just blow up with instability, which we could with the colder air mass coming in on Tuesday, maybe Tuesday blows up and these amounts are higher than I'm saying. And maybe Wednesday blows up and these snow showers are higher than I'm saying. Thursday, 6 to 8 inches with more of a steady precip returning. By Tuesday morning, snow levels 2,000, then down to 1,500, 1,500 all day Wednesday, 1,500 into Thursday morning. There you go. Haven't seen a run of consistent snow levels that low all winter, as you know. So that's what we're talking about. This is brought to you by this page, by the way. Hillcrest Ski and Board Shop out in Gresham. Again, you can rent gear, you can purchase gear. They've got clothing, they've got everything you need. All right. All right, here is what's going on. We saw the sun up around parts of the Portland North Valley area and then over into the North Coast. Radar is still picking up just a few showers to our south. There's not much out there. Most of the precip right now is either out toward the Blues into Pendleton or down sitting in the corner of California nearing the Oregon border. You can see it right there. Here's the satellite. This is cool because we just saw the live camera. So there's the clear skies offshore until you get into some cloudiness down to Lincoln County. Now, what's going to be happening? So, over this weekend, including this morning when we had some rain in the area, everything was coming up from this low, follow my cursor, and it was pushing up to the north. Tomorrow's weather, different story. See this front up to the north of us? That is the front that's expected to pass through Portland at about noon tomorrow. I think there'll be some rain on the radar when you wake up in the morning. Rain will pick up. We'll get a steady push of moisture midday into mid-afternoon as this front pushes in. And it will open the door for a colder flow of air significantly coming down out of the Gulf of Alaska. Okay. Here's the cold upper level low off the coast of California. And again, up in here, it doesn't look like much, but there's a developing trough right here, this cold pocket coming down from the northwest. That's what's going to plunge and change our overall weather situation. Now, tough to tell. I'm going to walk you through this. This is that American GFS surface model. I took you through this the last time we talked. Okay. So lots to kind of pinpoint, and let me show you what I'm looking at. This is tomorrow afternoon, Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Follow my cursor. There's Portland right here. Here's the low. Here is the front. Follow my cursor, which by 4 in the afternoon is already through us. So this is all cold air. And again, remember these dashed lines are lines of thickness that give us density estimates of the air mass. Denser air is colder, it's thicker. So, in this case, the lower the density numbers go, the colder the air mass. So there's 540, 34, 28, 22. Back in here offshore tomorrow afternoon, that's snow that's cold enough to produce some snow over the coast range. Okay. All right. So this is tomorrow afternoon. Still raining in the area, the cold air just starting to really work itself in. I'm going to play this into Tuesday morning. Here's Tuesday morning at really early at 4 a.m. This is Tuesday at 4 a.m. Here's the low still offshore. The colder air is still migrating in. The flow pattern around this low is mainly coming in from the west, okay? And this is 40, 34, 20. Now, the GFS is a little bit colder than other models. This shows the snow level by Tuesday morning could be down to 1,500 feet. Notice there's cold air out of Canada up here, but we're not really in that air mass. We're in this air mass that's dropping down out of the Gulf of Alaska. Let me just play this into Tuesday at 4 p.m. A lot of this hasn't changed since we talked on Friday. Notice the low Eastern Oregon, there's that low offshore. There's no weather system coming in Tuesday. There's no weather system really of note coming in Wednesday. It's mostly just cold air seeping in, and instability because of that really takes off when we get into this showery weather pattern. So here we are, Tuesday into Wednesday. And again, these are cold air indices that are cold enough that if you have any type of convection pulling cold air down, let's say in the afternoon, you're outside Tuesday afternoon, and let's say it's 45 degrees, and all of a sudden a downpour hits at 2 in the afternoon. It could be 36 degrees in a heartbeat with some sort of an icy mix or even some snowflakes being pulled down in those showers. So that's kind of what we're talking about here on especially Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday. Now, the first morning that really catches your eye with a light variable wind and air cold enough for snow at the lowest elevations is Wednesday morning. But here's the deal. It's tough to see on this map, but Wednesday morning looks like we're probably dry, at least mostly dry in the valley. So obviously it's not going to snow if it's dry. But during the day, Wednesday, we start to pick up all that convection once again. And sun breaks will just lead to more violent showers during the day and downpours developing. Okay. Here's that cold high. This is worth noting. Follow my cursor. There's a low in Minnesota. Cold front comes through Idaho. Cold front comes through central Washington and then up through Vancouver Island. That's that cold air shooting straight down out of Canada. Not really into our area yet, but we're still feeding off of this cold air that's dropping down out of the Gulf of Alaska. Um, and this is Wednesday afternoon. So understand Tuesday, Wednesday daytime, just random, maybe crazy convection, heavy showers that can really deliver a mix of anything. And depending on the timing, if it's evening, if it's night, and temperatures have been cooled and you get hit with a second shower, maybe we do see some blitzes of at least dustings of snow at the lowest elevations. That's how cold this air is. Now, this doesn't show it this well, but I think this is Thursday morning. On Thursday morning, see the low right here? It's kind of an intensifying pull of moisture in. So I think Thursday we get into more of a steady moisture pull. But again, notice where the low is. That's a west flow coming into us. 40, 34, 28, 22, 20. So one of the forecast rules is I'm spitting out indices of these dashed lines. When these dashed lines get down to an indice of 518, that's even with a cold air flow from the west off the Pacific, that can be cold enough that it's all snow. So we're close to that. 40, 34, 28, 22, 20. We're kind of right there to just above where no matter what the wind direction is, at least at night and early morning, this could be snow. So again, there's lots of things that are going to be a day-to-day 24-hour call. This is Wednesday morning. Okay. Excuse me, Thursday morning. Okay. Now, Thursday right now looks like it's likely showers much of the day. An update to your Friday forecast has us dry, okay, all day. And then here comes Saturday. And this is the last thing I want to point out on these maps. This is really interesting. This far out, I'm not sure how a number of things are going to play out. But this is Saturday. Obviously, this is a bigger weather system, a stronger low. Here's the cold front well offshore. But this is going to bring up, see the isobar? This is south wind flow flowing up into us. But remember, we have this cold air down over to Montana, and this is going to chase an east wind through the gorge. And when the east wind sees this warmer system out in the Pacific, the east wind's going to go, I got you. And the east wind's going to whoop, start really coming through the gorge and chasing that warm air. This is where it really gets fascinating. Let me play. This is Friday afternoon. See how these thickness contours, the dash lines kind of start arcing northward? That's warm air. This could literally be Saturday afternoon. You can make the argument it's raining and 50 degrees in Salem, while east winds are just raging through the gorge, and Portland is doing well to get up into the 40s. And at elevation in some spots, especially up in the southwest Washington, there could actually be some snow sticking. So it could be one of those crazy days Saturday. I'm not saying it's going to be. I'm just saying this is something I'm watching. This is Sunday. So what's interesting here is this is Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m., okay? The cold front's still out here. This cold front around this low never comes inland. This is all a warm air push bringing south winds up the valley. The south winds are trying to win the war against the east winds chasing out of the gorge. If the south winds win the war, we all warm up and it's all rain. But if the east winds win the war, then in the North Valley over the weekend, maybe even into Sunday, things could get interesting. So we're watching a lot of that. Now, let me show you a couple things. This is the Canadian model. I don't show you this very often. This is the Canadian model. This is Saturday morning. It's tough to see, but see the little barbs. There's a barb and there's a barb. So this is showing you winds blowing winds from the east through the gorge toward the west. This is what I'm talking about. This is Saturday morning. This doesn't really overly pick up wind speeds in the gorge, which I think is potentially incorrect. But here's still, this is Sunday afternoon, and the wind flow is just now starting to shift more to the south. So this does show much of the time the flow through the gorge this weekend is from the east. If that's the case, I guarantee you these east winds in the gorge are going to be far stronger than what this shows. So again, we're a long ways out from the weekend. A lot of things could change, just catching my eye. So the east winds would only be important if they're blowing cold air through the gorge. Here's Saturday morning. This is a European model. This shows temperatures up and down the valley in the low 30s. I think we might be a little bit warmer than that. It does show freezing temperatures, though, coming into the gorge. Okay. And then let me show you what the maximum temperature is going to be Saturday afternoon. This shows we're up into the fort. Now, notice it's 47, 46, 46 in the Salem. I think potentially it could be 50. Shows low 40s in Portland. Potentially could be 38, 40. Shows 39 out in the Dalles. So if this is correct, we probably don't have any wintry weather to speak of this weekend. But if it's colder, this Dow temperature is like 32, 34, then things get interesting. Okay. How much moisture we talked? We talked about the 2 to 3 feet of snow falling through Friday and then more snow coming this weekend. This shows about an inch of total precip Monday through Friday afternoon in Portland, less than half of an inch up in Seattle, about an inch down through Salem. Pretty uniform up and down the Willamette Valley. Shows rain amounts about an inch at the coast, a little bit more than that down in the south coast. Okay. This is one of the drier weather models. There are weather models that show we get more like an inch and a half to inch and 3/4 in Portland over the weekend. Okay. So, but definitely some moisture is coming. All right. Let's go around the horn real quick. Medford. I'm just going to punch on a few cities. I know I've kept you a while. Look at all the moisture. Look at Medford. Snow likely, then rain. 25 degrees Wednesday morning, changing to rain and 41. Thursday, snow likely in the morning, changing to rain and 42. So obviously, if you're going to be driving around our state, there's going to be winter weather. You will want to check conditions, period, before you travel this upcoming week. Look at all the snow in Bend. Overnight lows in the 20s, daytime highs in the 30s. That's going to be some snow cover, big time, right? How about Pendleton? Washington's birthday, Monday, 46, Tuesday, 45, Wednesday, rain, snow mix, 41, getting into low temperatures of snow at night, 25, going into Wednesday night. Okay. Up in Seattle, overnight lows around freezing, daytime highs around 40. A chance of a mixed bag of precip depending on the time of day and the intensity of convective showers, kind of what we've been talking about, right? Here's Eugene. Yeah, rain, snow Tuesday, rain, snow Wednesday, rain, snow Thursday. So Salem is going to be the same. Again, daytime highs warm to 40 or better. Okay, that's what we're looking at. North Bend stays above freezing, daytime highs in the 40s, but that's cooler weather than it's been. I mean, 55 today. By Tuesday, a high of only 46. That's a big cool down. That story's probably roughly the same. Mid 40s Tuesday going into Wednesday. They even include a chance of some snow up along the north coast. Okay, crazy. Here's my 7-day Hazeldale Tire Pros. This is a week I expect to be totally locked in, giving you lots of updates and looking at all kinds of weather data basically from start to finish every day. A lot of things are going to be a 24-hour call. 51 out there this afternoon at most, it looks like. Rainy day on Washington's birthday, President's Day, 37 to 46. Wintry mix chances start really Tuesday morning, continue through Wednesday. I think Thursday morning, maybe we'll look and see what's going on, but then it's just rain. Friday's dry. And then Saturday, it all depends on that east wind through the gorge versus the south wind coming up through the valley. Okay, I'm Rod Hill. Thank you for watching. I hope you find my discussions interesting. I'm trying to educate you and give you a glimpse of what I look at. the parameters I'm trying to put together. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. You will be notified when I post if you allow notifications. I will talk to you soon.